What's up, everybody? Welcome into another video from the Fanatics Show. This is a new series we're going to try to start. Not saying it's going to be daily, but right now we're calling it the Daily Vols News Report. Those that have watched the show for quite some time know that Skylar and I go live every single Thursday night at 7 o'clock. But because that's just once a week, there's a lot of news that happens during the week that we kind of miss out on because we've got a limited amount of time on Thursdays we're allowed to do this. So, to try to help with that, I'm going to try to post some videos. Like I said, maybe not daily, but anytime that there's any big news that comes out, I'm going to try to post a video about that. So, big news that came out yesterday from the SEC. The SEC announced the annual opponents for each SEC team, as well as the schedules, or at least the SEC opponents for 2026 through 2029. And Tennessee, no surprise to most people, whenever the SEC said that they were going to try to keep rivalries intact. They received the three opponents that everyone was expecting when it comes to the rivalries, as they are Alabama, Vanderbilt, and Kentucky. Now, I did say on our show a few different times that I thought maybe they would change out Kentucky for somebody like South Carolina for more competitive balance overall. But the SEC did the right thing by making sure that they left Kentucky as one of Tennessee's rivals, as it is actually the most played game in Tennessee history, having played 120 times in the history of the two programs, dating all the way back to 1894, and they have played annually every single year since 1944. So it is definitely a rivalry that Tennessee should have been allowed to keep, along with Vanderbilt being the second most played rivalry at 118 games overall. And then, of course, Alabama having played 107 times, if I'm doing my facts correctly there, off the top of my head. But Tennessee in 2026, of course, they'll be playing those three opponents there. And then the other opponents that they will be playing that season will be the home games: Auburn, LSU, and Texas. For the first time since Texas has joined the Southeastern Conference, will be coming to Knoxville. The three away opponents in 2026 will be at South Carolina, making a return trip after the unfortunate 22 season, at Arkansas, and at Texas A&M. Um, and what the SEC has decided to do is every 2 years, this will be the same schedule. You will just be facing the opponents at the opposite side from where you faced them the first time. So the 2026 opponents will remain the same in 2028, just flipped. So your home games at that point would be Arkansas, South Carolina, and Texas A&M. Then you would be making trips to LSU, Texas, and to Vanderbilt. So because of that, 2027 opponents, you'll be playing against, of course, the three annual opponents in Alabama, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt. You'll also be playing against Florida at home, Ole Miss at home, and Mississippi State at home before traveling to Georgia, Missouri, and Oklahoma. Of course, 2029, you're just flopping that. Vanderbilt, Georgia, and Missouri will be Vanderbilt, we already know, will be an opponent. Georgia, Missouri, and Oklahoma will be at home. And then Florida, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State will be on the road in 2029. Love how the SEC has done this, trying to make it as competitively balanced as they can overall, season by season. And I think that was a good way that the SEC did it, instead of trying to make the annual opponents more competitively balanced. They just kind of balanced out the schedules year by year for each team. Of course, the SEC will go back after this first 4 year slate and reevaluate the annual opponents for each team, and they could change them. But we'll see how that goes. Personally, I think the SEC did a very good job as far as making sure that rivalry stayed intact overall. I mean, Tennessee got their three opponents the way that they should be. I believe a team like Texas, their three opponents being Arkansas, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma. Those are three fantastic annual opponents, as that Arkansas rivalry dates back to the middle part of the 1900s, a very intense rivalry. Of course, the in-state battle against Texas A&M is a good one as well, and then the Red River Shootout in Oklahoma, that one had to stay intact. So I think the SEC did a fantastic job in this overall. Looking forward to seeing what this does going forward. So, in Lady Vols basketball news, as they're back on the hardwood now, practicing. Ruby Whitehorn has been reported to be back with the team, according to Coach Kim Caldwell. Uh, she was, in other words, suspended from the team for quite some time due to some off the court things that happened during the off season. Uh, Kim Caldwell said that was something that they took very seriously. It was not lightly taken at all. Excuse me. But she is back with the team now, practicing. Looking forward to the 2025-2026 campaign. Kind of some news off of Tennessee, but Tennessee adjacent, as former Tennessee basketball coach Bruce Pearl has decided to retire as Auburn's head basketball coach. Now, Tennessee fans have some mixed feelings about Bruce Pearl overall. He was actually a fantastic coach at Tennessee. In his time there, Bruce Pearl went 145 and 61 overall, including the program's first Elite Eight appearance, as well as a couple of Sweet 16 appearances. Did win an SEC title. Um, in the 2007-2008 season, and led Tennessee to a 31-5 overall record that season. Of course, his overall record as a head coach was 465 and 224, and those three teams that he coached for, he started off with UW Milwaukee from 01 to 05, posted an 83 and 38 overall record. At Tennessee, he coached from 06 to 2011, 145 and 61 overall. And from 2014 to 2025, he coached at Auburn. He posted a 234 and 125 overall record, and he is Auburn's second all-time leader in wins as Auburn's head coach. So, say what you want about Bruce Pearl in his coaching career. When he was at Tennessee, he's a fantastic coach. And he has decided to go ahead and retire from the game of basketball as a head coach. But some news that kind of shocked me a little bit was, well, I won't say shocked, because it was reported that this was going to happen. Um, but it still shocks me that Auburn would do this. Auburn has decided to hire Stephen Pearl as the program's next head coach, which is Bruce's son. This is Stephen Pearl's first time as a head coach at any such level. He's been Auburn's associate head coach for the last couple of seasons under his father. Um, Interesting move by Auburn here, hiring Stephen Pearl with no coaching experience, because this could go in vastly different directions for Auburn. He could absolutely take over as the head coach and keep the program where it was under his father, Bruce. But there's been many times in history that we've seen something like this happen, and it just not work out for the new head coach. So, very interesting move that Auburn made here. Stephen did play at the University of Tennessee under his father, Bruce. He was a decent player at Tennessee. He never was a really defining player for the program, but he was a decent enough role player at Tennessee at times. But just very interesting to see that Auburn decided to go with Stephen Pearl, and also to sign him to a 5-year deal right off the bat. I mean, we haven't seen what the guy can do yet. So this could go off the rails very quick for Auburn, or they could be rolling the dice and they could be coming out with a diamond in the rough, so to speak, as far as Stephen Pearl. So interesting news there from Auburn coming over the last couple of days. Tennessee is traveling to Mississippi State this weekend to play against the Bulldogs. Um, this is going to be a whiteout for Mississippi State down in Starkville. Um, the Vols, last time they played Mississippi State was last season. They did win that game 33-14 in Knoxville. This is a much different um, Mississippi State program than the one that Tennessee faced off against last year. Um, they are undefeated coming into this game. So we will see what Mississippi State looks like in this game. This is the first real big game Mississippi State has played. You could say the Arizona State game. Arizona State has come to find out is not as good as was expected this year. Still a big win for Mississippi State, not taking anything away from them. Um, but Tennessee definitely the best opponent that they have played so far this season. So the Vols, because of it being a whiteouts for Mississippi State, they will be wearing some sort of either orange uniform or some sort of alternate uniform for this game. We will find that out tomorrow at some point to see what they will be wearing. I would say probably some sort of traditional orange and white. We have seen Tennessee most recently against LSU in 2022. They decided to wear white at home, and Tennessee came out with the smoky gray uniforms. Could see that, but with Nike doing the thing where they come out with a new smoky gray uniform each year, I don't see the Vols debuting that uniform on the road this season. So I would say it's probably either going to be black uniforms or it would be some sort of orange uniform. I would be leaning more towards the orange uniform for this game. That's set to be announced tomorrow. Let me know what we should call this segment right here, right now. I'm just calling it the Daily Vols News Report. But I am open to different names for this particular video. As I said, this is basically just any big news that happens during the week whenever we're not live. Just kind of coming on, giving a brief update of that, so that we're reporting any news that we kind of the big news that we find each and every week, since we're not always able to uh, come out with that news on the podcast on Thursday nights. But that being said, make sure that you do come over to the Vol Fanatics Show every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time, as we will be talking each week's game. We'll be making picks. We'll be trying to make a little bit of money as well with Raking with Jake. Several good things going on. Make sure you check out the website, volfanatics.com, as well. Check out all of our socials. And then, of course, check out the College Huddle, as you see in the top corner of the screen as well. You'll find us as well as 85 other podcasts from all around the country that are just like Skylar and I for the Vol Fanatics Show. Until next time, go Big Orange.